How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Draftkings. They have earnings that is coming up on Friday. I'm getting a lot of questions. People want to know my thoughts on it. But one thing that I want to make sure I really stress, there's a trend that you need to pay attention to, and we're going to be discussing it. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch its full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we're going to go into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Draftkings. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $22.20, being down 4.84%. On the low, it tested $22.03, and then on the high, testing $23.85. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 24.802 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 23.292 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but you could tell we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 46.12. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and we're below the 21-day EMA. And it's very clear that we could see that Draftkings is in a bear market. And one of the things I want to bring to your attention, we do have earnings that is coming up on February the 18th. So what we have noticed in the past, it does sell off whenever earnings comes up. So what I'd want to see from Draftkings, if it does decide to pull back, then I want to see if it could actually hold up some support right here at the $20.53 level. If it cannot do this and it puts up bad earnings, then this stock is going to be trading well below $20, and I can see it actually breaking the low of $17.50. Now, if you're a bull for Draftkings and you want to see some price movement to the upside, as far as for the high of the day, it was at $23.85. So if we see some momentum going into earnings, then you want to see if it can get to around $25. It has made some attempts trying to actually get to 25, but the highest it actually got to is around $24.72. So $25 is a psychological area, and this would also put it right at the 50-day at $25.39. So gaining momentum, then we could have this stock breaking out. But from how it looks like right now, like I was saying previously, it does look bearish. It's trading below the 21-day EMA, and if we continue to have weakness inside of the market, you're going to want to see if it can hold up support right here at this $21 level. So let's see how it performs as this week progresses. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Draftkings. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at recent filings for February the 14th, you can see we have a lot. So let's get started. So we have DRW Securities LLC. They went in with puts with a value of 39,000 shares. We also do see some closed positions. We see a closed call here. Let's look for the next new. So we have a put value here from the Royal Bank of Canada, and the share value is at 100,000. And then we also have Balayasni Asset Management LLC that purchased 58,012 shares. We also have Temazak Holding Private Limited that purchased 265,902 shares. And you can see there are a good amount of closed positions as well as options. And as we scroll down further, you can see Hudson Bay Capital Management LP that purchased 40,000 shares. And then we have Antara Capital LP with a call value of 1 million shares. We also have Wells Fargo and Company with options calls that are value of shares of 27,400. Scrolling down, we can see we have Pins Capital Management LP that purchased 121,200. And then we also have Avidian Wealth Solutions LLC that purchased 2,400 117. And you can also see they have calls with a value of shares of 26,000. We also have Hilltop Holdings Inc. that purchased 9,056. And we also have Snowden Capital Advisors LLC with 3,228 shares. We also see Scana Management LP with a put value of 23,900 shares. And we also see they have a share position of 14,992 shares. We also have Granger Management LLC. They have calls with 7,500. That's the amount of shares. And then when we take a look at Okudo Quantitative Strategies LP, purchased 51,994 shares. And then we also have CSSLL with 8,198. And we also have Boardman Bay Capital Management with 30,000 shares. And then we go down even more. We have Paloma Partners Management Co. that purchased just under 118,000 shares. And we also have Brookfield Asset Management Inc. that purchased 25,582 shares. And then we have Graham Capital Management LP that purchased 34,835 shares. So you can just see it just continue. So we do see institutions are showing interest in DraftKings, but we do see a good amount of closed positions as well. And another thing that I want to bring to your attention, if we take a look at what's been going down as of late, we can see institutions have been loading up, especially since DraftKings stocks has been pulling back. So that is great for long-term investors. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 40.66%. And then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 6.82 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 7.3 million, updated 1 minute ago. And then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 0.59%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 10th, it was at 46.73, and then for the close of the 11th, being at 40.66. So one thing that remains very clear, that DraftKings does have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for DraftKings. So on the inflow, it's at 92.90, and then on the outflow, it's at 104. When we take a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 2.11. On the medium, it was 58.16. And then on the small, it was 32.63. When we take a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 11.07. On the medium, it was 62.76. And then on the small, it was 29.99. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for February the 14th, which is today, we had that big outflow of 8.96 million. But for the 3 trading days prior to that, we ended up seeing inflows of 2.87 million, 4.75 million, and 7.07 million. So again, institutions are loading up. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, that represents whales, institutions, or funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 3.15%. So not too surprised for a growth stock like DraftKings. Plus, it has been on quite the downtrend. But there are still many who are holding on to their positions, and we also do see institutions have been buying in. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for DraftKings in regards to the price action, if we go into tomorrow and we see weakness, then it could pull back to around $21.20. And breaking through that level will put it where you want to see it hold support at $20.50. As far as for a move to the upside, you're going to want to see it get to at least $25.39. And if it can move up from there, it can get very interesting. I am not seeing this going into earnings. What we could see consistently on the chart, every time earnings comes close, this stock does sell off. So that's why I'm giving you guys a good idea of what this stock can look like on the downside. If you are a long-term investor, this is something you're going to want to keep a close eye on as well. Another reason why I'm not surprised about this either, as far as for their past earnings reports, they have been underwhelming. But what we want to see, since it is a growth stock at the end of the day, we want to see improvements in revenue. We do know, as far as DraftKings is concerned, they are not profitable as of yet. And with the market conditions that we're currently in, a lot of stocks are getting punished if they can't show profitability. Plus, on top of that if they're not showing strong guidance. So this is something that you're going to want to expect from DraftKings. So keep an eye on earnings. I myself personally would not be going in with calls, but that's just my personal strategy. You could take a look at it and see if it's right for you, but I'm just going to pay attention to the trend, and what the trend is telling me is not to go long on this stock going into earnings. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see that a lot of institutions have been loading up on shares, especially as the stock has been dipping. But we do see a good amount of closed positions, and we see a lot of hedging that is going on. So you want to add that to your homework, especially if you're interested in this stock. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it does have short squeeze potential. And I'm not surprised about that. There is a good amount of negative market sentiment around the stock. This company is not profitable, and they do have a history of underperforming when it comes to their earnings reports. But I'm going to be looking forward to seeing some strong revenue, some strong guidance. I'm not looking for them to be profitable, but that's what I'm going to be looking for, because I do believe in the long-term prospects. Am I going to be adding more to my position for DraftKings? No. But I feel like if they do disappoint on earnings, you can get this stock back down below $20, and that might be an area where you might be interested to add. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how this stock performs for this coming week. We'll talk soon.